Louis Riel, the famous Métis leader and hero from Saskatchewan, challenged the Canadian government's racially discriminatory practices in the 1880s and took the cause of Aboriginal people to a national level. The Métis martyr led a resistance movement against injustice and was eventually hung for treason. The battles of Duck Lake, Fish Creek, and Batoche, and the charisma of Louis Riel and his co-leader Gabriel Dumont raised awareness of the Métis people and contributed to their eventual recognition. The annual Back to Batoche event, held since the 1880s, has celebrated the Métis spirit over the decades, helping to restore and nurture the spirit of the nation by bringing together the Métis from across the land. In the summer of 2010, the largest gathering of Métis people in many decades was held to celebrate the 125th anniversary of the Métis Northwest Resistance at Batoche. Thousands attended the annual week-long event, which showcased cultural traditions and celebrated political gains over the decades. In 2008, Batoche was declared a National Historic Site by the Government of Canada.
I didn't really know much about my Métis culture. I just knew that I was Aboriginal, but I didn't really grasp the Métis side of it. So it's been fun to play the spoons and learn a few steps.
It was quite a journey for me to find out my identity and to grab onto something that I could really identify with.
I feel right at home. I've been coming here for 25 years, sing Mass here each time. And people are the one who invite me, and I respond to their invitation, and I just enjoy every minute of it being here.
Because one of our goals was to, bring the world to the Métis and to Batoche, and tell them the story about a great people that has a rich and vibrant culture and has had a great impact and influence on the development of this country.
The offspring of Aboriginal and European ancestry can be linked to the Vikings, the French, and the United Kingdom adventurers. Often speaking several languages such as Dene, Cree, Blackfoot, Saulteaux, English, and French, the Métis were among the first Canadian business people and were essential in forging Canada's background.
When Canada started, it suffered what we call external colonialism. The European countries were colonizing us, and they were dominating us, controlling our economy and our politics. With the advent of Canadian society, we did away with external colonialism. But the present governments continue what we call internal colonialism. There is still domination and control of Métis people in Canada by the governments. And this type of mentality goes back to the Middle Ages in Europe with the Enlightenment and the Renaissance, when the European discovered their ability to think, to rationalize. And because of that, they considered themselves the center of the intellectual world. And anybody who was outside that intellectual world was called what we call today marginalized people. And uncivilized, uncouth, pagans, whatever. That mentality is still with us in governments, among many white people, the way they perceive Native people today. And this is one of the great things that we have to contend with. But because of the organizations of the political locals and regions and provincial and national level, Native people today are affirming their nationhood more and more.
The Red River, or Michif Métis, developed their unique culture 2 centuries before the settlers from Europe came to live on the land. They were forced to leave Manitoba's Red River settlement by federal government policies that ignored their rights in order to accommodate their anticipated flow of settlers to the region. Back to Batoche, celebrations recognize and appreciate the heroic leader Louis Riel, Gabriel Dumont, Howard Adams, Jim Brady, and many, many others.
What makes Louis Riel unique to me is the fact that he was a person who was living in different opposites depending how you looked at him, on which side of the fence you were on. Some people will look at him as a traitor, others as a statesman, others as a great man, others as a rebel.
I always had the feeling in my heart that he was doing the right thing. And I believe today that he was doing the right thing, and I also believe that he should be, that the Canadian society should recognize that he was doing a good thing as opposed to the current perceptions that people still have about Louis Riel.
The 125th celebration also symbolized a hope for reconciliation between the various levels of government and today's Métis people, as there remain outstanding issues such as land claims, hunting rights, and settlements for Métis veterans.
I think reconciliation means that all sides must be satisfied. Whether it's the government, the churches, the Aboriginal, non-Aboriginal people, all sides must be satisfied. And in order, that implies that there were some estranged relationships in the past. And these relationships must be transformed into harmonious relationship. And that takes a lot of courage. That takes a lot of trust, takes a lot of forgiveness to lead to reconciliation.
One of the things that stuck out in my mind at that event was Assiniboine, the first person that was shot at the Battle of Duck Lake, along with Isidore Dumont, and the descendants of Joe Mackay, who fired the first shot. Assiniboine and Isidore Dumont all hugged each other, and it was really a tear welling moment.
Many in attendance were able to get advice on conducting genealogy research. A team of University Alberta researchers were on hand to provide guidance with the Métis Nation online historical database. This new technology connected people with their ancestors by searching their ancestral background, including the Hudson Bay archives and church records. Leaders, elders, veterans, guest dignitaries, and those of all ages were in attendance. Métis National Council President Clement Chorche joined host Métis Nation. Saskatchewan President Robert Doucette, other Métis leaders, and federal politicians attended the ceremonies. Traditionally, the week begins with a Sunday procession to honor the mass gravesite of Métis fighters from the Northwest or Real Resistance. Louis Riel spoke prophetic words for the future generations when he said, "My people will sleep for 100 years. When they awaken, it will be the artists who bring their spirits back." Louis Riel's prophetic words linking the survival of the Métis people to the arts are coming alive across the nation through music, art, theater, fashion, and sports. The Scots and the French taught fiddling to their families and communities. The Métis of all ages have traditionally danced jigging and square dancing, going for hours, lasting all evening and long into the night.
Doesn't matter, you can dance whoever you are, how big, how small. It's a fun way to get out there and have fun.
And I took a jigging lesson. It was pretty cool. Did the Red River jig with my mom.
I learned how to dance, I really wanted, you know, my purpose for dancing was to be able to pass it on to my children. And so this is something that will be a bit of a legacy. So my daughter performed today, and I was so proud of her for doing her best and to be able to have something to be proud of too.
Dancing is important to me because it keeps the tradition going, and dancing is really important to my life. I love to dance. It's pretty much all I ever want to do. I know how to hip-hop dance, and that's how I learned, from jigging, just moving my feet and everything. And my dad, Brent Potskin, ever since I was small, he would teach me how to dance. And it's just like, it lifts up my spirit. Whenever I'm down or sad, I dance it off, and it's really great.
Get back on the roots, traditional dancing. It's pretty good for the soul.
The renowned Métis playwright, director, and actor, performed her celebrated Batoche musical along with other up-and-coming actors Bruce Sinclair, Dwayne Favel, and other local cast members. Placed at the time of Louis Riel, the musical is a reenactment of the emotional journey of the people after the Battle of Batoche, told in a fun, gusting, and compelling story.
You're probably just here for the
The way a man looks
one I know for sure can carry 2 moose out at the boat. Your boat looks like I can still hear the buffalo on the prairie. To tell long, boring stories that don't mean a damn thing. If you think you're so big and tough, let's see you lift out their buffalo. I'll show you how it's done, Métis style. Hey, look at the legs of the bull. Shut up! Oh, yeah. I think I'll come back and move her later.
So look at this, girls. There they go again.
Auntie, what are they fighting about?
There's not too many buffalo left there, Hudson. Yeah, that's meant for you. Try to be the best buffalo hunter. The buffalo will rot by the time they get to it.
This was true in the Red River. We did everything in our power to assert our rights and obligations to our children and families.
Yes, we did.
We petitioned, we proclaimed, using the reason and the law as we understood it. And the men, they fought courageously for what they believed was right. And there is no shame in that. Oh, I think. Thank you for coming. So let it never be said that we are ashamed of our mothers. I'm here to do a job, and that's all. Does your job include spilling the blood of your innocent relatives, Joe Mackay? There will be no blood spilled here today as long as you give me the ammunition peacefully. That I promise you. Well, you're going to have to kill me first.
About their daughters and their wives, who made the meals and mended clothes and
of young Aboriginal girls like
Fashion designers June Garneau and her mother are creating Métis and Aboriginal art through fashion and jewelry design to become recognized talent in the western provinces of Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Alberta.
Just this year I started designing myself, like I designed this top. It's contemporary, but it still has an Aboriginal flair. And I get a lot of insight. My mom, June Garneau, she really inspires me.
It's been a very, very important celebration. I think that it has shown me that the huge progress that we've made as nations coming together and growing out of the destruction was brought about by the alcohol and the various discriminations that we've lived through in the past 100 years. It's been really great. Very, very positive experience.
This was a special year. This is the 125th year of the resistance of the Métis and First Nations against the Canadian colonial forces.
Yeah, it's been really good energy here. It's been a wonderful experience to be able to be here and to be a part of it. And I probably will be coming back again.
Many a Highland kilt was raised, many a jockless jock was praised for his hey nonny no nonny noo. Those gentlemen from across the sea, wearing the kilt below the knee, inflaming the curiosity of the Cree, Chippewa, and the Sioux. And they love to go dancing heel and toe with a crow hop and a do-si-do, and dance underneath the moon till they start to swoon and wander off in pairs and get married right away. À la façon de la Pays, and then have a bunch of heirs, the McKays and the Campbells and Sinclairs. And every week on Saturday they don their colors in a jaunty way and dance to the fiddles of the Bob Roulet. Dance-a-too, dance-a-too, dance-a-too. To go dancing heel and toe with a crow hop and a do-si-do, and dance underneath the moon till they start to swoon and wander off in pairs and get married right away. À la façon de la Pays, and then have a bunch of heirs.